Hey everybody, welcome back to Nerd News Today. I'm Matthew, and today we're talking about Daredevil. But not just any Daredevil. And that's about as clickbaity as this kind of video can be, so let's just go ahead and take a look at what we're going to be talking about today, because this is a Daredevil statue from Diamond Select, but it's not your typical Daredevil, as I mentioned. This is, in fact, Elektra as Daredevil. This PVC figure diorama from DST is all about Elektra, and for you guys that don't know, this is actually a pretty recent piece as far as like storylines go, and that to me is actually kind of shocking. I mean, really, Diamond is like not just on the ball here, they're almost ahead of the game, because this, I believe, is the first piece of merchandise we've seen of Elektra as Daredevil ever. And I mean that because this run is pretty much, well, technically still going on, but what happened was, real briefly here, Elektra basically took over the mantle of Daredevil while Matt Murdock as Daredevil was arrested and put into prison. And like I said, that only happened like less than 2 years ago, and she's still basically wearing this outfit also. In fact, if you picked up Marvel's recent Savage Avengers series, you'll still see her in this outfit. So this is pretty new, and I gotta tell you guys, I'm actually really happy to see this done by Diamond first. Like, yes, I am very highly anticipating the Marvel Legends figure that Hasbro will inevitably do of this outfit, and I will totally buy that. But for the time being, like, getting a statue like this to me is like the perfect encapsulation of this character from so many different reasons here that we're gonna get into in a few moments. But first, let's just talk about this packaging real quickly here, and this is like all of the other Diamond PVC figure diorama statue pieces that we've ever looked at on this channel here, which is to say they have a lot of windows here. We have great big window on the front, we've got windows on each of the sides to let you see this thing in from every possible angle, including that always lovable Diamond Select sunroof. Granted, I don't think Elektra's going out much in the day, so it might be kind of wasted on her, but whatever, you can still see her from the top. The back of the box has a picture of the statue once again in action. You can get kind of a preview of what we're about to look at. We also get a bio about Elektra, and this is another kind of misstep, unfortunately, in the bios. It's a very well-written bio all about Elektra, but the problem I have with it is that it doesn't contextualize the piece here. So yes, we have this great information about who Elektra is, but no explanation to why she's wearing Daredevil's outfit. So if you didn't know, you wouldn't know. And to me, I think that's kind of important to have on the back of a packaging like this when you're filling in collectors on something who maybe are not super familiar with the comics. They might not be reading the comics, but they see this really cool statue and want to know more about who the heck this character is. And by the way, I am going to have a few links to some of the comics or some of the trades below in my description, so if you do want to get caught up, that's going to be the best way to do it. There's a lot of great issues with her in action. Her character is changing a lot, which is always fun to see, so yeah, I'm really digging this version of Elektra for a number of reasons. But most importantly, the back of the packaging, it lists something very, very, very important here. That tells us who this piece was made by, and this here was sculpted by Alterton. We love Alterton, he does great work. We've been reviewing his pieces on this channel for years, thanks to Diamond. So yeah, I'm always excited to see anything that Alterton does. And this piece here, I can tell you, it's already going to be a favorite of mine, and that's before I even open her up. But with that said, let's go ahead now, take her out of this packaging, and get a better look at this Elektra from all angles. And here is our Elektra as Daredevil statue, looking really nice right off the bat, immediately taken out of the package. I am so into this piece. But let's just do a quick rotation and give you guys a full 180. I want to say 360, but we're not flipping it around. But, you know, we're going to give you now a full view of what the statue looks like before I get into some of the finer details. And my overall thoughts are, I'm very happy. You know, like I already said, I've been waiting for someone to do a piece of merchandise with this version of Elektra, or this version of Daredevil, however you want to call it. And I'm happy that Diamond got to it first, because I knew that they were going to do it justice, and they were going to do something very dynamic and interesting. And this piece is all of those things. I like so many different elements about this. And, you know, being a big Daredevil fan, I mean, he's one of my favorites. I got a lot to say about this piece. So, yeah, we're going to have fun with this one, you guys. This is a keeper. So, all right, let's begin, I think, where we begin all these videos, and that's with talking about the likeness. And the question here now is, does this version of Elektra as Daredevil look like the comic version of Elektra as Daredevil? So, yeah, I would have to say yes. I mean, that's kind of the interesting thing about this character is, like, her face is so shrouded. It's such a cool look. And yeah, they captured that look. And it's cool because, like, basically this is Daredevil's helmet and it's on Elektra. It's completely obscuring that it's her. And that's kind of the idea behind it, is that she didn't want anybody knowing. I mean, obviously they can tell it's not a man anymore, but she didn't want anybody knowing as well, you know, who was underneath that. So she was doing her best still to kind of protect the identity. And Elektra is technically still, you know, an anti-hero bad guy. So, you know, it's a very complicated storyline. I'm not going to go into all the details about it, but you know, this look is great, and they nailed it. And I especially like this part here. It's covering her mouth. I think that's like one of the signature parts, more so of the costume than anything else. Just the fact that, you know, to the depths of which she's hiding her identity, or just the identity of Daredevil, period. It's kind of fun. It's in some ways it's almost like cute because she's so worried about Matt Murdock that she wants to do it that way, but it's also because maybe, she doesn't want folks to know that it's her under there. And yeah, again, I'm now just babbling about storyline stuff, but it's really cool. There's a really great texture in the helmet. The horns, by the way, very pointy. You can definitely lose an eyeball in one of those if you stab somebody with them. It's got all the great elements that you're looking for in the Daredevil mask. And likewise, too, we'll turn around a little more. You can see it's got her hair. Like, there's Elektra's hair. And you may have noticed as you did the rotation. It's a little hard to see, but there actually is a rubber band holding that in place. You don't need to have the rubber band there. I mean, you could definitely take that off once you get it out of the box for yourself. Don't think you need it. All you gotta do is just cut it with the scissors, it'll disappear, but it's kind of there just for the time being to keep it intact while it's being shipped out to places. But as far as likeness goes, I mean, this is it. I love this. This is pretty much perfect. They got it right. So let's zoom out a little bit and let's talk now about the pose of Elektra. Again, really great choice. Very interesting choice as well. So she is here mid-action and mid-leap also. So there's some great body language going on with this piece. And yeah, great energy. This is a very energetic piece. So where do I even begin here? There's a lot going on. I think the cool thing here is we've got now, I think I need to zoom out completely for this little part here. So we've got a few different elements at play here. We have the verticality of this piece because we have, basically 3-tier structures of verticality. We have the bottom part of this base, we have this middle part of the base, and we have Elektra, who kind of continues this straight line. It's even, the peak of her hair is also part of that straight line. So we have the straight line here first, and then we have the crossing X shape that's going across here, and it kind of intersects in the double Ds. I shouldn't point at her chest and say that, but, I'm talking about the Daredevil logo, you guys. So when I say we have this X shape happening here, this leg and her body have a line going in this direction as I knock her over. Likewise with this piece of fabric here, we're creating a line in this direction, and her arms and shoulders, and really the tips of her thighs, are creating another line in this way. That's forming an X shape, which is reinforced by this straight line, bringing you to the center point, which is the most important part of the statue, and that's the face and the symbol of Daredevil. So really great choices here, really great artistic choices. I really couldn't think of a better way to present this character, and frankly, this would be a great way to even just do Matt Murdock's Daredevil as well. So great design choice. That's one of the things I like about the statue so very much. And even from any angle, it's still a very strong piece. From behind, especially, it's actually still really cool because, she's just running around, leaping over things in the city. She's in action, she's on the hunt, and it's great storytelling. Just a lot of energy, a lot of action, and frankly, just simple, good design. Now, since I did mention that base thing, we're going to just jump right into the base for a moment because this base is so cool. And it's another little subtle nod to Matt Murdock as well, because really, this whole thing that Elektra is doing, it's an homage to Matt Murdock, so it makes sense that the base should be kept that way too. And yes, we can say that this is a cityscape in Hell's Kitchen in Manhattan, but I would say based on this window, and the way the window is shaped, and you can see it similarly on this window too, and I think basically all the windows have it. The way it's kind of pointed, it's kind of meant to be like a stained glass window from a church. So we could say that she's jumping across a church. That's a very Matt Murdock Daredevil thing to be doing because Matt Murdock is all about his religion. It's a big part of all the comics. And it's another really great juxtaposition for the character here because Elektra is trying to honor the memory of Matt Murdock as Daredevil, but she's also doing her own thing. And at the end of the day, she is still a trained assassin. And that's why she's running around with her side drawn and jumping over the city and still dressed kind of like a ninja. So great storytelling choices here again. Like you can see what I mean. There's so much to this piece. Now, I think I also want to spend some time talking more about the paint job, and we'll zoom back in onto Elektra for this part here. And Elektra has a very clean paint job. I like the weathering on it. She has this like gray ninja outfit. Kind of gray, blackish ninja outfit. They didn't make it total black, so it is a gray tone. And it's going really great with the same grays that you're seeing in the building below that you already saw. This crimson color as well, a perfect match. Just great choices. Perfect. Yeah, no. Such a good piece. And, I've already talked about the anatomy in some ways. But yeah, as far as like the figure goes and the shape of the figure, this is all wonderful. And I think one of the parts I like about this piece also is that it's still kind of feminine, despite it being a very action-oriented pose. And with a lot of diamond pieces we've looked at in the past, especially with the women characters, they tend to be a little bit more sexualized, for better or for worse. Depends on your view of the character and what they're doing. Sometimes we had a few characters that, yes, I like the statue, but I also felt like it kind of took away because the focus was so much more on the sexuality of the character. In the case of this Elektra, I think we're not getting sexuality, but we are getting some sensuality with the way the fabrics are going and that kind of thing. But really, I think we're kind of keeping the energy and the kind of the masculine energy of the statue, while also maintaining that it's a woman doing these things. And why does that matter? Well, because again, this is kind of a different piece. This isn't just like the typical centerfold kind of look for a statue. This is somebody in action, and you know, she is not necessarily the kind of character really that would either care about her sexuality as much. I mean, she does, but that's not what's happening in this piece here. So they're really doing a great job of just capturing a lot of energy and not letting this kind of just be all about those double V's I mentioned before. They're kind of letting the character speak for herself and let the story of the piece speak for itself. So that alone just makes it a real knockout, stunning piece here. So yeah, you know, I could go on and on forever about how much I like this piece, because I really do. And like I said, I'm a big Daredevil fan. So for me, having a piece like this in my collection is a very welcome addition. You know, I don't think I actually even have that many Daredevil pieces. I might have like one Daredevil statue, but I don't even know if I do. I might have just made it up, or I might have seen them and haven't gotten it yet. So I may have to fix that. But I will tell you what this piece reminds me of a lot, and it's a favorite of mine. And that would be one of the very first Diamond pieces I ever reviewed. And that was the Dark Knight statue. It was a Dark Knight statue with Carrie Kelly Robin on it, and they were perched on a building just like this. And it so reminds me of that kind of look. And it was one of my favorite pieces. It still remains one of my favorite Diamond statues to this day. And it's got some similar elements to it, but again, this piece has got a completely different story. But the fact that it's even just reminding me of that Dark Knight piece, that's a great sign, because it means it's a piece I really, really like. And if you couldn't tell that, by the way, I was just rambling about it for the last 10 minutes, then boy, were you not paying attention. So if you want to pick up this Elektra as Daredevil statue for yourself, which I highly recommend that you do, you can go ahead and grab her from Amazon.com using my affiliate links. You can find those in the description for this video below. If you use those links to make any purchases on Amazon, it helps this YouTube channel at no extra cost to you. And by the way, don't forget to let me know in the comments what you think about this statue and the 10 minutes of rambling I just spent telling you all about it. So yep, again, that's our look at Elektra as Daredevil. Great piece, magnificent piece. Highly recommend you add this to your collection. And with all that said, until next time, I'm Matthew. This has been Nerd News Today, and we'll see you later here on this channel for more statue reviews, toy reviews, and everything else that we do here.